Start.
Good morning, friends. Today I am going to deal with the narrative perspective in the kite runner. You see, I am going to tell you something about Khaled Hosseini, the man who suffers, and Khaled Hosseini, the mind which. We all know that Khaled Hosseini was an Afghan American writer, a diasporic writer, who is if I use the present tense here, who is a well-qualified professional, a doctor to be precise, and a full-time writer as well. Now, he is also a philanthropist who, through the Khaled Hosseini Foundation, is trying to ameliorate the condition of the poor Afghans. Now, you may think that Sir has already told you about these things. But then, this kind of repetition is important to drive at the points that I really want to make in and through this particular lecture. Now, in a way, there are certain similarities between Khaled Hosseini, the writer, and Amir Agha, the protagonist of the novel, the character. There are certain autobiographical elements insofar as their subjective locations are concerned, because both these entities, Hosseini, the real life individual, and Amir, the imaginary character, they hail from Afghanistan, the upper class Afghanistan, the urban upper class Afghanistan from Kabul, and the urban upper class highly educated Afghans, exposed to cultural plurality, though belonging to or hailing from Muslim households. They are exposed to the West and also to the East. That is why the perspective of this novel is, in a way, very, very pluralistic. Now, whenever we read the works of any diasporic writer, there has been a very, very common tendency amongst the readers and critics to consider these works as deracinated, these writers as basically exoticists who actually try to exoticize their motherlands, their lands of origin, their homeland, for a predominantly Western audience or readership. So, we'll see that diasporic writers have often been accused of writing from a predominantly Western, condescending, patronizing, exoticizing point of view. They want to present, this is thought so. It is thought that they want to present an exotic, a strange, even to remember side, almost an orientalized picture of their one-time countries of origin. But at the same time, you have to understand that the cultural roots, the historical roots of these Afghans is very, very deep. I have already pointed out a few things about them. They are upper class, they are highly educated, socially well-placed Afghans who have had to flee from their troubled country to seek sanctuary in the West. So the life they have left behind has been one of affluence, one of social accommodation, economic ease, and at the same time, cultural awareness. Very cultured, very educated. For example, you remember that Atik Rahimi, Khaled Hussaini, Nadia Hashimi, they come from very cultured households. Amir Aga, for example, has for his mother the now dead Sufia Akrami, who came from a dynastic families, one of the royal families of Afghanistan, and was a university teacher. So the pull of their Afghan roots are also very strong on both Hussaini and Amir. And in many instances, I'm talking about the text, the kite runner, the narrator Amir refers to his Afghan life, his Afghan culture, because it is basically a kind of a memoir in which much of it, the action of the novel actually takes place in Afghanistan. But at the same time, America has been depicted in some detail by the narrator Amir, and at a further remove by the writer Hussaini. You will see that America has given them sanctuary. America has given them peace, safety. America is the land that they have settled in. Even though people like Iqbal Tawahiri would like to go back to Afghanistan, we are not certain, at least textually we are not certain, as to whether Amir also wants to go back or not. Similar is the case with Hussaini. So you will see that the narrative perspective is also pluralistic. Pluralistic in this that there is a balance, even though precarious at times, that has been sought by both the writer and the narrator in their presentation of the locales, Afghanistan and America, and also in transit, some bits of Pakistan. Because you remember that Amir has twice been to Pakistan, once in his way to America from the trouble-torn Afghanistan along with his father. And secondly, to meet the ailing Rahim Khan, the bosom friend of his now dead and departed father. So you will see that we can very easily compare the context of this novel with Wordsworth's poem To the Skylark. Type of the wise who soar but never roam, true to the kindred points of passion and home. This is how the narrative perspective of the kite runner may easily be analyzed and explained away. Thank you for your attention.
Ready, sir.
Hmm. Nobida Anjum has asked me two very pertinent questions. Number one, whether Khaled Hosseini has orientalized or exoticized his land of origin. If we use a geometrical analogy, we may say, so in a way, Nobida's question is whether Hosseini is centrifugal in his narrative perspective. Again, the next question that she has asked me is as to whether Hosseini is traditional in his narrative perspective. That is, again, using a geometrical analogy, we may say that her question can be expressed in this way, that whether Hosseini is centripetal. Now, my answer will be, in a way, an extension of my discussion about the narrative perspective that I have posted today itself. You see, first thing is awareness of difference, and second thing is acceptance of difference, and the third thing is accommodation and even celebration of that difference. First thing that we need to understand is that Afghanistan, the Afghan ways and culture is totally different from America, American ways, American culture, and so on and so forth. Now, in the case of a diasporic writer like Hosseini, he is physically leaving behind one land, one location, with its attendant cultural, ideological, political, and social baggage. At the same time, he has to physically navigate through, negotiate with, and in some ways adapt to a changed circumstance, a changed land with its changed different customs, creeds, cultures, and so on and so forth. Now, the main importance should be accorded to what I have already said. Number one, the awareness of difference. Now, Khaled Hosseini, being steeped in the Afghan grounded in the Afghan soil of culture and the place specificities, At the same time, he has been exposed to the Western cultural baggage. So he is aware of the difference. Next, he has to accept the difference because there are good things in both the cultures, both the locations. Similarly, there are bad things, not so good things in each of the locations and its cultures. So the next stage is the celebration of difference because a diasporic writer who is also to be called a transnational writer has to celebrate the difference. We all know that Deleuze and Guattari has talked about deterritorialization. When one is pushed beyond a territory, he is deterritorialized, which in some ways um, necessitates uh, um, some kind of a deracination, dislocation, disruption, and a sense of nostalgia, if you will. But at the same time, ultimately, the diasporic dislocated writer has to celebrate this deterritorialization because it has given him the ability or the opportunity to accept a changed reality. Now, this is why we will see that in the descriptions and judgments that the narrator of the kite runner allows himself to make of both in America and Afghanistan. There are aspects of both the lands that he celebrates. Similarly, he is not impervious to the sunny sides of either. That is why that he has to maintain a very precarious balance between being pro-West and pro-East. He considers himself a citizen of the global village, and that is why he maintains a right balance between the two. I can, and in fine, give you two examples. Number one, his reaction after setting foot on on the Afghan soil after a long absence. He seems to understand or realize that the land has not forgotten him. At the same time, he also talks to Asif at the critical juncture when he meets Asif and Asif recognizes him. He says, I can wear for money and I can pay you. See, uh, even though he is aware of the claims of the Afghan soil and culture on him, he is not stupid enough to forget how the West, meaning America in this context, can offer or provide enormous benefits, ease, and opportunities. Thank you.